Hello everybody, Randy McKee here with Soccer 605, and I'm here with USF skipper Mekonnen Afa. We're having a happy signing day today, running up and down the highways talking to these coaches, and want to thank you, Coach, for spending some time with us today.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming, Randy.
You know, I think we're seeing school after school after school, from what I'm seeing, coming up with really good signing classes, and I'm sure yours is no different.
You know, we are, and I think this is an important class for us as we're looking to kind of boost our program, and you know, the group that we're coming in, we feel very comfortable that will help us kind of get, you know, that next step to where we want to be.
You know, last year you had what most of us would call, I think, a rebuilding year, and you know, every program goes through that, and it's never fun to go through it, but you know, there is always a purpose to that.
You know, there is, and you know, that challenge of getting back to where we want to be. You know, our players, our returning players, are hungry for it, and are putting that extra work, you know, on campus, off campus. But we're also excited with the group that's coming in, because that's what we've sold them on, saying, you know, we didn't, we're not hiding our overall record, but you know, every player coming in knowing that they're going to be part of that group that's going to help us step to the next stage.
You know, we see this happening, you know, in almost every case when a school moves into a higher division than they've been playing in, and it just takes a couple years to get adjusted. I mean, we've seen that in plenty of programs that go from NAIA, maybe national champions there, to come into a tough conference like Northern Sun, and it's a different world.
It is, and you know, from the conference that we transitioned to this conference, there seems to be a lot of parity between the teams. You know, at any given day, you know, any of the teams can beat each other, and you have teams that, you know, from last year that were at the top of the conference, and now maybe are towards the middle, and groups that were towards the middle and now towards the top. And you have, you know, the eventual, you know, you have those powerhouses that are in the top, but it's a very competitive conference.
You know, and you know, in that college program, you got 4, maybe 5 years if you get a red shirt or whatever. But you know, it's just a constantly changing environment there, and you know, you might find yourself heavy with midfielders one year. And so I was wondering, and I'm asking all the coaches, did you go out recruiting this year with any kind of specific players that you were after, or specific types of players in mind?
Well, you know, there's two things that we were going after. One is to get our numbers up. Deaths was a cause of, you know, was hurt us last year. You know, right away we had several players, you know, 2 players that tore their ACL right away. So we needed to get our numbers up. And then the second thing is, one of the things that we feel that we maybe struggled a little bit was on the offensive third of the field. And so going after specific players that are going to help us, you know, fill those roles. But then you also have where you're trying to fill in roles of players that have graduated. And so there's 3 things that we had to look at actually this year is in kind of filling in those roles. And so that's kind of the main reason in you know, the recruiting process for us this year.
Do you think that as you evolve in your recruiting, that you're changing regions of the country that you look at for players?
Well, we've definitely have changed the region. You know, it's very competitive in the Midwest, and we felt that we need to get out of this region for us to. One, partly because of where we're at in the conference. You know, there's some good players, and to try to attract those good players, they also have those other same schools in our conference chasing the same kids. And so we just went outside of our region and have been really recruiting on the West Coast, and have been able to sign kids from the West Coast area just to get them here to kind of help us, and also a mix of some junior college kids.
You know, some of the kids that you know, we're involved in South Dakota soccer, so there are a lot of players that know about Soccer 605 or learn about Soccer 605, and we've been able to talk to quite a few of the players who are going to be coming in. You know, and one thing that we hear almost universally about the programs from the players who are coming to South Dakota is that they really like the schools that they're going to. They're small. They can have a more intimate relationship with the school than they might be able to in California. But almost universally, they enjoy being part of the teams, because they think the team, when you're that far away from home, you have to have a family, and here that team kind of has to substitute for that family.
And that's correct, and that's kind of our biggest seller is that yes, there is that distance, but right away, once you come here, it's almost like we want to be your second family. And a lot of them have felt that way, and even during their visits here. It's hard to tell a kid from California, when you tell them about South Dakota, they really don't know what to think.
Yeah.
But the biggest seller for us has been once they've set foot on campus, and they meet the people, they meet the players, they meet the staff, and that's really been the biggest seller. I know that if I can get them here, that's really most of the battle.
As a parent of a USF alum and the Soccer 605, the guy who started Soccer 605, Connor, that was, and I had a lot of the guys that I coached in high school and club when they were youth come to school here, and they just universally loved the campus here at USF. They really like the teachers. Having that new turf facility out there at your athletic complex sure can't hurt either.
It definitely can't. Most players that we bring here are really amazed with our facilities, because they just assume that because they are from a larger community, a larger state, that they have better facilities, and they're really surprised to see the facilities that we have. Not only even at USF complex, but even to see the Yankton Trails Park, to know that there's 20 full-size fields in one location. That just doesn't happen in some of the major metropolitan areas.
And Sioux Falls, I guess, anymore has, for these players who are coming in from larger metro areas, Sioux Falls has just about everything that they could get there. But there's a lot of things that don't happen here that they don't like that go on in the bigger communities. So I think the community has to be a great asset too.
It is. It's the biggest seller. I think every single one that comes here, the question to ask is what was your perception when I called you? And you think about South Dakota, almost everybody thinks it's country, and it's a small town with country, farm fields, ranching, and they come here and think, oh, it's just another suburb of wherever they're from, whether it's California, Arizona, it's just another suburb of where they came from. So, but the two comments that we get most is that it's, people here are a lot nicer, and the town is very clean.
That's because they haven't run into me yet.
Yeah, I think even you they would like.
Well, Coach, I know you can't talk about everybody who's planning on coming in, but all the letters are not in yet. But let's talk about the letters that have come in and who we know are coming.
Yeah, there's two from California that we've signed. Gabby Gill is one of them, 5'10", defensive player. She can play centrally, she can play outside back. She's going to fill in a vacancy that with some players that have graduated. And then Jacqueline Montes is also another player. They're both from the same club, Empire Soccer Club, and she's going to help us, as a defensive midfielder, also even as plays as a center back. So, most of them will play two different roles, one on club and one with high school, and that's what really attracts us, is that we're going to be able to move them around in areas that we need.
Were those and Empire is an ECNL club, isn't it?
They have some ECNL clubs. Yes.
And one thing we're finding with those types of clubs, or with the bigger clubs, is you get those players and they've played a lot of different positions, and they really tend to have a good soccer brain because of the competitive environment they've been in their whole life.
Yeah, and being able to train on a year-round basis is also has been an advantage. Be able to withstand that competition from day in, day out, and so we're excited that they're going to be joining our program. There's a few more also from the West Coast that we're still waiting on, that we're also excited about, that will definitely help us in different roles.
Okay, and I think you have some players from Minnesota, or a player, or do you?
Yeah, and we're
still waiting for
the things, and will help us more of as an attacking player, fairly quick, being able to give us another depth in the outside striker position.
Okay. Well, I don't know how many total you're probably going to end up with, but I'm sure that you're going to try to get that roster up there 20, 25. And
Yep, that's what we're hoping. Our goal is to be right around that 23, 24.
Okay.
With the new class that we come in, that it's coming in, and that's another, what our goal was, anywhere between 8 to 12 players, and I think we feel comfortable that if we fall anywhere in between. Then we also have some players that are returning from injuries that will also help us in that sense. So we're comfortable where we're going to be at the beginning of the year.
Well, I'm sure you'll let us know when you get the next batch in, and we'll be back over here and talk about them. We want to make sure and give them a legitimate Soccer 605 welcome, because once they cross the state line, they are Soccer 605 like the rest of us.
Yep, that's they're very excited about that. Most of them that we've talked about Soccer 605, they're like, oh, that's great, that's great. And I said, they're the ones also that will follow you through your career here, and so they're very excited about that. The families are very excited about that. They've really haven't heard of anything like it before, and so being able to experience that for them is going to be great, and be able to to follow their kids throughout the year is something too that they're looking forward to.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, you think about especially once you get to my age, you think about all the different things you did in your life, and the things that had the most fun impact, and that is this thing. It's sometimes it's you feel weighted down when you have a whole camera full of video that you have to get processed. So I keep telling people I'm weighted down by something that weighs zero.
Yeah.
But we really always love getting out there and getting your games and talking to your players and you, and looking forward to doing some more of that.
It's been a pleasure, and I think you guys do a great service to the universities here and to the players in South Dakota, and even players that are coming outside of South Dakota, because it just gives them a different experience and even more of that big time feel. And I think that it's great that what you guys are doing.
Well, thanks, and we think it's great what you're doing too. So thanks for checking us out on Soccer 605. Thank you, Mekonnen, for your time. We look forward to getting the final bits with all you schools rounded up. It's sometimes it's like herding cats, but it eventually happens, and we can go off happy.
We're looking forward to it. So.
All right.
Thank you very much, Randy.
Thank you, and thank you for checking out Soccer 605. We'll be back with you probably within the next couple weeks with Coach Afa again to kind of fill in the roster and let you know what they have coming here at USF. Thanks.
Thank you.